What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Stuart Sutherland aka Beef Stu. So it has been a while since he posted any physique updates. So here we have a few that he posted recently. So Stu kind of had a disappointing 2025 season. So he did Tampa Pro and Texas Pro and he was totally off at Tampa. But Texas was comparatively a better look. But I must say he lacked the conditioning that he is 100% capable of bringing to the stage that we have seen from him in the past. Because if we take a look back at his run back in 2024, California Pro or the New York Pro, those were the best looks of his career that we have seen so far. And this year, he just lacked that polish, the roundness, and also the crazy detail that we saw from him last year. Now, obviously, he's trying to add on more muscle, more mass to his frame. Because the fact is, he does need that. Because he isn't a very aesthetic bodybuilder. And he isn't a mass monster either. And putting on more muscle, more mass, that is the one and the only way to be competitive in the open. Especially in this era. But at the same time, you have to make sure that your conditioning, that is also spot on. And the reason I'm saying that is because if a guy who has a structure like Stu, if he's off even by 2%, that is just enough for the judges to mark him down and place him several places lower. And that is exactly what we saw at Tampa Pro earlier this year. Now, he hasn't been able to win a pro show so far, but he came pretty damn close a couple of times back in 2024. And at this point, we cannot be sure whether him being at 100% that will be enough to help him get his first pro win and earn him his Olympia spot. Now, if we go back to 2023, where he had a very close battle with Tony Burton at the New York Pro, that was also a very good look for him. But the fact is the competition that has gotten so much better and so much fierce in the past couple of years. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. Next up, we have an update from Quinton Beastwood. So more pictures came out from his recent guest posing, and this particular one, the front double biceps, that kind of makes you wonder, why hasn't this guy been able to win his first pro show? Even though this guy has been competing as a pro since 2017. Well, the reason for 2025 and him not winning a pro show this year, that's definitely Orsky, who just came out of nowhere and he beat Quinton in 2 shows back to back. Now, Quinton had a very good run in 2025 competition season. But the fact is, there is also a different side of this picture too. How mentally strong you have to be able to withstand 4 second place finishes in a matter of just few months and still be motivated enough to keep going and make some new improvements for 2026. Now, we all know eventually Quinton is going to be stepping on the Olympia stage as he has a very huge advantage with being very young and with the kind of structure that he has. So the density and the muscle maturity that is still lacking on his physique, that will eventually come, especially in that upper half, more specifically in the chest and the shoulders area. So he's going to get that with more time. But even knowing that, this must have been very frustrating for Quinton Beastwood. Now he must have learned a lot from Samson Dauda in that short training camp. Obviously, we all know 2 weeks was very little time to make some solid progress, especially in terms of muscle density. But Quinton did show up in a great condition, probably his best ever in Italy Pro, but Ors was just better overall. For now, Quinton is done for the season, and he had a pretty decent rebound, and we expect to see him back on the stage sometime next year, probably after summer, so that he can have another decent and a proper off-season, and make some more gains, top to bottom, front to back, more specifically in that back area. So the issue with Quinton, that is more with his upper body, and also he loses a lot of ground in the hamstrings and the adductors when he turns around for the back shots. His legs from the front, they are always super diced. So what are your expectations from Quinton in 2026? Will we see him on the Olympia stage? Next up, we have an update from Danila Sergeyev, the first guy to have earned his Olympia qualification for 2026 by winning France Pro, beating Quinton Beastwood. The show that was scheduled a couple of weeks before the Olympia this year. So he's gonna be making a very anticipated Open Olympia debut next year. As this guy has such a monstrous look, being 6'3", he's a total freak of nature. And it has been weeks since he competed, but the man is still holding on to a very solid condition, even 7 weeks post-show. I mean, look at the side leg on him. Absolutely nasty. So, these guys with bigger frame, like Michael Krizo, Quinton, like Samson, Andrew, they take an eternity to fill out, unless of course you are Samson Dauda. But Danilov Sergey is growing at a very fast pace. So, if he can add more outer quad sweep in his quads from the front, he will become an even more dangerous and even more competitive open bodybuilder. So him winning France Pro, beating guys like Quinton Beastwood, Hassan Mustafa, that was a total shocker because very few people out there even knew his name before that show. And that video with Hadi Chopin in Dubai and also Chris Bumstead, that made him grow his following big time. So we all wanna see how much Sergey can improve if he takes the next whole year, have a proper off-season, and just focus on the Olympia next year and present a far better physique at his Olympia debut. So Florian Poissant looking so ready at 262 pounds. That only means one thing. He's aiming to compete very soon, and after this weekend in Romania, there are only 2 shows left in this calendar year in the Men's Open. The Big Man Weekend Spain and Japan Pro. So he will be competing in either one of them or maybe both of them. So not only does he look very ripped, he's also looking very round and 3D for that kind of weight. Now it has been 1 year since he made that switch to a division where he truly belonged, to the open bodybuilding from classic physique after competing in classic for almost 4 years. Which was literally a waste of time for him, and there is no other way of saying that, because his body was never meant to be in a smaller division in classic physique, and it was never gonna look good with a weight cap hanging over his head. He had the perfect open bodybuilding structure even when he made his pro debut way back in 2019. His quads are absolutely huge, but this time his upper body that is also looking very balanced compared to his lower half. So the biggest weakness that he has always had, and that is still there, that is the lack of enough back development. But considering that he hasn't competed since the Legion Sports this year, he had a few good months of proper off-season, of solid growth phase. So he's very much likely to show up a lot better in one of these upcoming shows. So one has to ask this question: where would this guy have been career-wise if he continued in the open bodybuilding for all those years from 2019 to 2025? That is a lot of time to address your weak points, and all he did in classic was restrict his body from getting bigger, from growing. But the good thing is that the man is back in the open bodybuilding where he truly belongs. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.